So here we are for yet another unboxing, and today we have the MJX RC Hyper Go 1/14 scale 14301, which is this little guy right here, which of course has taken some styling cues from the Armour Infraction. There is a rally version of this available as well. It's brushless, it comes 3S ready, it does come included with a 2S battery, as well as a bunch of other goodies that we're going to talk about through this unboxing. So without further ado, we'll get rid of that little box and we can have a better look at this guy and everything that you get with it. As you saw, as I was taking everything out of the box there, you actually do get quite a few things with this car, which is really good to see actually. I wasn't expecting it to be as well equipped and come with as much stuff as it does, but it's nice to see that it comes with a lot of this stuff. So one of the things here is a fan. I believe this might be like an ESC fan or something like that. Maybe it's a spare, but it's nice that they give you one of these. You get a charger, a little Allen key and a cross wrench for you to take, obviously work on the car and charge your battery up, which is good. And then you get a couple of sets of tires. This looks like a full off-road tire. If my camera would focus, it would be great. Here we go. So you can see it's got full off-road tread. And then you have some hard plastic slicks, which these will be your drift tires. The wheels actually don't look too bad, to be honest. I like the wheels on the drift tire, look very good. And then of course you have your radio, as you saw, and you've got a manual here which takes you through some basic instructions. There is a leaflet that they've put in here which I think is talking about the gyro. It's in Chinese and it's translated in English, but it basically talks about the settings on the gyro on here as well. And over here you've got the oh god, come on, you got the user manual which has some basic instructions. Now, does it give you part numbers? No, they don't give you any sort of part numbers or anything like that in here, which is probably a little disappointing. I mean, if something does break, you want to be able to look up part numbers, and they just don't give you any of that with the manual. So it's basically just a quick start guide, which is a little bit of a letdown. I have to say, I'm not too impressed with that at all. It should have been better. Okay, so for the radio, this is the same radio that I unboxed recently with the Bezgar little monster truck, the little wild monster truck, which everybody told me in the comments that was actually a MJX truck, and it very much is. It's just been rebranded by Bezgar, I think. So the radio is the same as that as well, which for the most part, it actually didn't work too bad. This one here has a button on the handle which controls the LED lights on the truck, which will, I guess we'll showcase that at some point. You have your on and off switch just on the side here, which also has your 70 and 100% settings there. A little indicator LED light. You got your trimmings over here. I think this is a throttle trim, and this is your steering trim just over here. Wheel with the foam surround, which actually isn't too bad. And of course, a trigger, which feels really light. I kind of wish it was a little bit heavier, but for what it is, I think it's fine. This label that they've gone here, there's no screen back here or anything, so don't get any ideas. But this is just a label talking about how when you turn the radio on and then turn the car on, make sure everything's sort of in neutral position. Don't turn the radio on with the car on while holding the throttle or the wheel turned, because then the minute it binds, then that becomes its neutral position. So if you let go of the steering wheel, the wheels will turn straight away. If you let go of the throttle, the car will shoot off. So just make sure that when you turn everything on, you have everything in neutral position. That's really what that's talking about there. Aside from that, it runs on, I think, a couple of AA's, and yeah, it's a pretty decent radio, should work just fine with the car. All right, so now for the little car itself, and what a gorgeous little machine it is. I don't mind the color scheme on it either. I think this actually comes in another color as well, which is like a gray color. But I'm pretty sure it's the same car, it's just a different color. So this is a really cool looking little machine. You got the little diffuser on the back here, you got the spoiler. There's LED tail lights here, and also underneath the spoiler just there. And then you've got the roll cage on the back, and you've got the little roof skids back here. And then on the front, you've also got these big bright headlight LEDs. There's LEDs, you can just sort of see them there, they're behind the grille. And then there's some more LEDs on the roof just here as well. And it's a really cool looking little truck. Now, one of the things that really took me by surprise is because this was a Hyper Go, and a lot of the Hyper Go, off-road cars are plastic chassis, I was expecting a plastic chassis with this as well, but it's not. it's actually alloy. And it's a really nice finish to it as well. I think it's only a couple of mils thick, and it's got the little kick up on the front and everything. And it just, you know, the whole truck's got a little bit of heft to it. It's got a bit of weight, which I think is going to help with stability, at least with stability, which is something that I'm hoping that that's the case. But it's yeah, it's a really cool looking little truck. And yeah, I guess we'll just take the body off now, and we'll see underneath and check out all the little bits and pieces that this thing's got. Now, one really sort of annoying thing is that the holes for the body posts are always a little bit tight. I noticed this on the other monster truck that I got, the little Bezgar monster truck, and I'm noticing on this one as well. So you can see that it's really hard to take the body off. So just, I'm going to be widening out these holes just a little bit. One thing to note is that, of course, the LED lights are tethered to the receiver. So when you take the body off, you know, just remember that. Otherwise, you're going to be yanking wires everywhere, and you could end up damaging this. So I'm going to be very gentle here, just taking this out of the way so we can get the body out of the way. There we go. So you can see the arrangement underneath, how the wires are all done and how your LED lights are all set up there. So it's actually really nicely done. Actually, the body itself actually feels pretty good. It's not too bad. It's got a bit of thickness to it, which I think is going to work well. So here we are underneath. You can see that it's got a cover on it, and for such a tiny little car, they also put a tower-to-tower brace, which is crazy. Like, it's just crazy. You got alloy threaded body chocks, and you have these cool little wheels and tires. The tires actually feel really good, really nice and soft and squishy. They got this sort of rally type of tread to them, which is not too bad at all. I'm hoping that these actually end up gripping okay. You can see how they've done the spoiler on the back. It's all like braced and reinforced and everything. You don't really have adjustment on the shocks either, so you're not going to be able to adjust suspension geometry or anything like that. Both front and rear are pretty much locked. You do have some adjustable turnbuckles here for your toe. I don't think there's any adjustment available for camber that I can see. You got a nice little foam bumper on the front here, and of course you got that front skid just there. Body posts are not adjustable, but I don't think that really matters in a car like this. It's not like there's an array of option bodies that you can swap this out to, so I think that's fine as it is. The only thing that kind of annoys me a little bit, I don't know if you guys can see this, but the wheel nuts stick out of the wheels quite a bit. And I don't know, my OCD is just kicking into overdrive. I would have preferred to see that a little bit more flush. But that's just a tiny little minor thing. Of course, you can see you've got the plastic cover over the top here to offer a little bit of protection. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if this cover is really necessary. And the reason why I say this is because, well, first of all, you're not really off-roading per se. I mean, sure, some people might take this on a gravel track or a dusty trail somewhere, but for the most part, you're going to be on the road. So I guess this may offer a little bit of protection, but not much. But it's a flat tray, so anything that sort of gets in here is going to fall out right away. If it was a plastic tub like they did with the the off-road truck, I could understand. You want to protect things from getting caught up in that tub, but this is just a flat tray. Like most debris is just going to fall clean out. If anything, this is probably going to cause debris to sort of stay in here. So leaves, sticks, and things like that you pick up from mucking around at car parks and on the road, it's just going to be trapped by this cover. So I'm not sure what the logic is behind this. Yeah, I don't know if I'm even going to run with it, to be honest, but it's just 3 body pins. You can take this out very easily. That just pops off like so, and then yeah, that's really all it is. It's just that little thing. So we'll tuck that aside and we'll have a better look at the guts of this guy. Well, by the way, before we do, suspension on this is actually really plush. Because the car does have a little bit of weight to it, it actually feels kind of nice. It feels nice, soft and plush. I'm hoping that that's going to hold up okay. You do have the threaded bodies on the shocks, so of course you can tune that up a little bit. There are no droop screws or anything like that, so you can't do any of that. And you can see the transmission case back here is all pretty much sealed. So there's really no exposed gears or anything of the sort. The drive shaft in the center is like one of those hex it's like a long hex key that's on there. So it's not a perfectly round, which I guess will be all right. There is a captured little sleeve in the middle here to stop it from oscillating, so that's a nice touch. I do like that. A bit of overkill with the tower-to-tower brace, which doesn't look too bad. I'm not complaining, but you know, you're not necessarily going to be jumping this, so it's pretty over-engineered. Even the front chassis brace looks real nice and beefy and strong. This servo saver is actually on the servo horn just there, so your steering assembly works like so. It's almost like upside down, so the servo horn points down and like your steering rack and everything's kind of upside down compared to, you know, what you'd normally see on some of the other cars. You got upper and lower A-arms just there. Look at the beefiness of the drive shafts as well. They look like they're about 5 mil thick, maybe more. They look like they taper outwards towards the outdrive cup on the wheel there, so it gets even thicker as that goes there. So you can see just how beefy that guy is right there. On the back, I think they did CVDs on the back as well. Wow, look at this. So I don't know if the camera will catch that, but you do have CVDs on the back as well, which is really cool. Really nice beefy drive shafts. I really like how they've done this too. It looks like you got aluminium hinge pin braces back here as well. So a really beefy looking car and very well equipped. I love the wire management and everything that they've done, you know, given that it's such a confined space. You've got this box here which kind of sits up a little bit, and that's where your servo sits. And then of course you got your ESC back here and your motor with the heatsink and a fan. Receiver sits up here. This is your gyro up here as well. So the gyro's got a little dial, and that's going to allow you to adjust the gains. I'm not entirely sure what that little button is, to be honest, but I know that the dial is basically just to adjust the gains so you can tune the sensitivity of the gyro. It's not something that's you know, as intuitive as some of the other gyros where you can just adjust it on the radio. This one you actually have to take the cover off and play around with it in there. But aside from that, you know, for what it is, I think that's fine. Now the battery, as you can see, comes with Dean's or a T-style connector, and then you've got 2 straps. So there's one going long ways, and then you've got another one going across. So your battery is going to be nice and secured. The tray is actually pretty generous as well, and you can get 3S batteries for these. I actually got one of the 3S batteries here, and I'll show you that in a second. The battery that's included is actually a lithium ion battery. It's a 2000 milliamp. It's only a 15C 2S, so it's not going to have a huge amount of punch. But this is going to get you going, right? This is as basic as it gets as far as the battery goes, and it's going to pretty much get you going. And I'll just grab that 3S battery and show you now. So this is the battery that you get. They actually sent this over to me as an extra. You don't get this with the car. You do need to purchase this separately, but this is one of the options that you can get, which is a 3S 2000 milliamp 25C, which actually is not too bad. 25C, I think, for a car like this should work just fine. You can see it also has the Dean's plug on there. They also sent me out a little 3S charger, which is really nice, but they didn't have to do that because I've got my own chargers, of course. But you can get these things if you have nothing else. Yeah, you can set yourself up. I do have a lot of 3S batteries, but none of them are 2000 milliamps. Most of them are 2200, and they're all a bit bigger, so they won't fit in here. So this is actually nice to have a 3S battery that's going to fit in this car, and we'll be able to see just how fast this thing actually is with the batteries that you can get for it. Now for the wish list, this is one of those rare occasions where I really don't have too much to add. I mean, they've covered a lot of bases here. You got LED lights, you got roof skids, you've got you know, spare set of tires and wheels for different applications. You got drift tires, you got off-road tires, you got rally tires, which can obviously be used for on-road as well. They give you a spare a fan for your ESC to mount up on there. They've got a cover for the chassis. You've got a couple of little tools to help you work on the car, and you know, you can control your LEDs via the radio, which is so cool to be able to do that. And of course, you got a 3-position switch on the radio as well. So I don't have a lot to sort of complain about and put on the wish list at this stage. Probably my only complaint is, you know, maybe making the body post holes just microscopically bigger, just so that they don't catch so badly on the posts, and maybe just get some better body pins, because these little guys, they fall out way too easy. They're just not strong enough. Of course, I don't want them to be as strong as what Armour uses, because you pretty much need a crowbar to take out the body pins that come on the Armour cars. But something just slightly stronger than these would be nice, and that's really it. And it's really, you know, it's very trivial things. It's not very important. Until I have some more experience with this car, I don't think I really can have anything that I can say to put on this wish list. I think that's something that's going to come a little bit later. But for now, I'm going to leave this one blank. And that brings us to the end of yet another unboxing here on the channel. Just a big shout out to MJX RC for sending out this car for review. I do appreciate them supporting the channel, and I really can't wait to drive this thing because, you know, with the spare tires that they give you and the different terrain options that you can run this on, as well as being able to run on 3S, I think this truck's actually going to be a lot of fun, especially since you got the gyro in there, you got the LED lights working, and you know, with the cop lights at the front there, who knows, maybe I'll pull over a couple of cars that are misbehaving out on the track wherever I'm running. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play around with this thing. I just can't wait. I think it looks fantastic. The 14301 from MJX RC, little Infraction 1/14 scale looking thing. I think this is a really cool truck, and I hope it performs as well as it looks. But for now, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video up till now, be sure to give it a thumbs up before you go. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as always, check out the video description down below. I'll have links in there to you know, the website where you can find out a bit more details about the truck. And of course, links to my socials, which will keep you a couple of steps ahead of what goes on here on YouTube. That's it from me, and I'll catch you all next time. Now for my wish list, I gotta say I don't really have too much to. Now for the wish list, like on the actual, like the body post holes are really tight on the body posts. So when you go to, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh Jesus.